Gallery podcast.
Hello, I'm Miranda Hinckley, and over the next 15 minutes I'll be bringing you this month's news from the National Gallery, London. In addition to temporary exhibitions like Kossoff and Renoir, we've also got a magnificent permanent collection of paintings that's completely free to explore. Many of the works on show are hundreds of years old and are often epic in scale, yet they're all inspired by the same feelings and desires we experience today. In February's episode, we talked about pictures celebrating the ups and downs of love. This month, we take beauty as our theme. I spoke to Leslie Primo from National Gallery Information about two works he's particularly passionate about. Leslie, you work for National Gallery Information, responsible for talking to visitors about the works in the collection. And you're particularly keen about the painting we're standing in front of, aren't you? This is the Judgment of Paris by Peter Paul Rubens.
Yeah, this is a painting I've long had an obsession with, really, and love for. A painting that I used to visit the gallery exclusively to see years before I ever worked here. In fact, I visited the gallery at least once a week to come and see this painting, and I've read so many books about this painting that when I eventually decided to do a degree in history of art, well, I wrote a dissertation about this painting.
So what's actually going on here? We've got the Judgment of Paris, and we've got the three goddesses, Aphrodite or Venus, Minerva or Athene, and Hera or Juno, who were being judged by a rather attractive young man who's holding out a golden apple.
Now, of course, all three goddesses face Paris and are trying to persuade him somehow that they are more beautiful than the other. And what we can see in this picture is, in fact, that they've all resorted to the age-old idea of trying to attract men, and that is to take off your clothes. So they've all taken off their clothes to try and attract Paris's attention. Of course, the problem with this is Paris is, after all, a mere mortal man, and men aren't very good when it comes to making decisions about beautiful women, especially when they're all naked. And what we see in this picture is three women showing us what for Rubens at this time was ideal beauty. But what's great about this is that, of course, these are goddesses, so one would expect from goddesses to see some pretty stunning women, much in the vein of what we'd nowadays call ideal beauty. For instance, we'd look at someone like Paris Hilton with a zero-size figure and say, yes, this is ideal beauty. So one would expect that kind of woman here. But that's not what we see here. What we see, in fact, are three very large, voluptuous women with lots of cellulite, lots of rolls of flesh. This is ideal beauty for Rubens in 1632.
Leslie, this painting's just lovely. It's very, very different from the one we were looking at just now. For a start, it's a lot smaller and it's much more kind of carefully worked, isn't it?
Yes, this painting by Joachim Wtewael approaches the same story again, the Judgment of Paris, but some 15 years earlier than the painting that we saw, painted around about 1632 by Rubens. So this painting, again, we see the goddesses lined up, but in here, the goddesses' body types are markedly different from what we saw before. They are much more muscular, and in fact, the rolls of fat disappear. We're looking at a completely different body type here now in this particular depiction. But of course, in the middle, we have Paris, and Paris in the middle here actually has given the golden apple to Aphrodite or Venus.
So this, in fact, is giving us the end of the story, isn't it? Which is that because all of the goddesses were equally lovely, and they really are quite stunning in this, they had to offer him bribes, didn't they?
Well, it's essentially that's what's going on here. This Judgment of Paris, although it has a really wonderful art title, is essentially a beauty contest. And all three goddesses have tried to tempt Paris. They have been unable to tempt him, mainly because he's not able to make a decision over three naked women. So instead what we see is that the goddesses try to bribe him, and we see first of all that Hera tries to bribe him with money and jewels, followed by Minerva or Athena. She tries to bribe Paris with strength and wisdom in battle, because that is her attributes. Of course, the bribe that wins over Paris is the bribe from Venus, of course, because Venus offers Paris a great prize, and that is the prize of Helen. And Helen is the most beautiful woman on earth, and of course, instead of taking the money, as I would have done, of course, Paris goes for lust, and that's what really this is about. This is about lust. Lust winning over money and winning over strength and wisdom.
So back then, just as now, perhaps ideas of beauty have proved very divisive indeed.
They have indeed, and ideas of beauty are really what this is all about. What do we consider to be the most perfect body? Is it the voluptuous Rubenesque body? Is it the athletic body of Wtewael? Or is it the zero-size model that we now hold in great esteem? It's really about the society that we live in at the time, and what we've seen with both these artists is the society that they lived in at the time had very different ideas as to what the ideal beauty is. And in fact, the society that we live in now also has different ideas to what the ideal beauty is. It's just that we are unaware of it.
Leslie Primo. You can pop in to admire the three goddesses for yourselves. Rubens' Judgment of Paris is in room 29 and Wtewael's version is in room 17. That's all for now, but if you're planning a visit to the gallery this month, there are a number of Easter events you might like to take part in, from live concerts to painting workshops for families. There's also a special Life of Christ audio trail to follow through the galleries. Visit www.nationalgallery.org.uk for details. Don't forget to join us next month when we'll be coming to you from the National Gallery at night, a special episode celebrating the uncanny world of the art gallery once the doors have closed and the lights are out. Until then, goodbye.